Okay, on the second page of the 5-1 activity, we need to take these values and plug them into this equation. What I'm going to do is show you how to do that on your calculator. Take your calculator and turn it on. Go to y equals. Clear anything out on your y equals if there is anything. Next step is to type this equation into y equals. So negative x to the third power plus 4x squared minus x minus 4. Now you don't need a fancy calculator in order to plug these numbers in. You can plug them in and just work it out on a normal calculator, but I'm going to show you a neat feature here. Please hit the second button and graph. Just like we did before, we're going to plug in the x values and get out the y values. Don't worry if yours aren't the same as mine, because I'm just going to type right over them. So the first thing I'm going to do is type -5 and hit enter. And then I'm going to do -4 and hit enter. And -3 enter. I'm just following my x values that they have up there. -2, -1, 0, and 1. And you will notice once you type in 1, you ran out of room. So those values you have, we're going to put in the chart. So these values right here, those values go in your XY chart. So far, I have 226, 128, 62, 22, 2, -4, and -2. Now I'm going to go back to your calculator and type in the remaining values. So I'm just going to go up and type over the ones that I don't need anymore. So I left off at +1, so now I'm going to go up here. I'm going to do 2, 3, 4, and 5. And fill in the remainder of my chart with these values. So I now have my entire XY chart ready to go. Before we move on and plot our points, it asks us to describe the trend of the graph, including the end behavior. We should notice from this graph that the leading term was -x cubed. Because it's negative, and because the exponent is odd, according to my list that we made, the chart, a negative odd go up, down. I want to plot our points, but because the points are so obnoxious, we're going to skip by 2's on the y-axis. Okay, plot your points. So the first thing to plot, and I'm not going to plot, I'm not plotting that because it's super obnoxious. I'm not plotting that, it's too obnoxious. I'm not plotting that, it's too obnoxious. Okay, so we're going to start at going left 3, nope, my left 2, and up 22. But since we're skipping by 2's, I'm going to go left 2, up 11. So over 2, 1. Right there is 11, right at the tippy top of the graph. Now go left 1, up 2. Remember, we're skipping by 2, so it's really just left 1, up 11. Over 0 down 4. Over 1 down 2. Remembering we're skipping by 2s. Over 2 up 2. Over 3 up 2. Oh, that's funny. Look how those are side by side. That's okay, because between those, it's actually going to take a little turn. Over 4 down 8. Remember, we're skipping by 2s. And over 5 down 34. No, thank you. I'm not going to do that, okay? No, too obnoxious. Okay, now what we're going to do is you can really see the cubic starting to come together. I hope. That's the goal. We know it's going to take a maximum amount of 2 turns, and this one definitely does. So let's connect it in that funny, goofy S sideways shape thing. That was good. Those were good math words. Now notice right here, I did indicate that it goes just a little up between those 2 funny spots. It has to. It can't flatline. Alright. Oh man, that one's out. Oh, now we can see that it does take a turn around here and around here. What we don't want to do is assume we know what the turn is. Scroll down to the bottom of the page. And we're actually going to, because it makes sense in my math class, doesn't it? We're going to answer the last question first. Why not, okay? What are the turning points? You need a calculator. So we're going to grab our calculator again. I guess I can pick that up. And everybody hit Zoom 6. It's actually pretty good. Take a look right here. That's a minimum. And right here is a maximum. I'm going to teach you how to use your calculator to find the min and the max. You might assume that the minimum is 0, and you might assume that the maximum is at 2.5. But you know what they say about assuming. Okay. Okay. I would like you to hit second trace. We want to find the minimum, so please hit the button 3, like the actual button 3. Your calculator is asking you a question. It's saying, hey, go to the left of it. We did this yesterday. Do you remember? A little bit? Go to the left of the minimum. So if I hold my cursor at the minimum, you can see that the cursor is blinking to the left. Hit enter. Now, make your cursor go to the right of that minimum. If I put my cursor there, you can see now it's blinking to the right. Hit enter, and it's going to ask you to take a guess. Just hit enter again. And we have the minimum. Look, we kind of assumed it happened at 0. Did it happen at 0? No. Did it happen close to 0? Oh yeah. Okay, but not at 0. So when we go here, our minimum from our calculator is 0.13, comma, negative 4.06. And we'll label that as a min. Now we'll find the max. I promise I'm doing it backwards for a reason. It will help us with the other parts. Finding the max is very similar, except when you do second trace, this time you pick number 4. If I put my cursor on the max, I just need to make sure that the cursor is blinking on the left.
You're falling apart out there.
Thanks, Ms. Mal. Once you get your cursor to the left, hit enter, and now put your cursor to the right. And hit enter. You don't really need to take a guess. It'll do it for you. Now, does the max happen at exactly 2.5? No, pretty close to it. So the max is at 2.54 and the y value 2.88. And we'll label that as a max. Once you get that far, you're about halfway done. No, you're about 3/4 of the way done. We can go back and we can answer this question, where is it increasing and where is it decreasing? So we have a pretty good picture here. What's happening, just like you read a book, left to right, read your graph. Is this increasing? Is this increasing or decreasing here? Decreasing, very good. And then it stops right around here, doesn't it? So we know that from negative infinity until that spot, it's decreasing. Now you might say, well, what's that spot? That spot comes from your minimum of 0.13. So it's decreasing, 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 decreasing until it gets here. And then what? Okay, I made a boo-boo. And you gotta move this over to decreasing. Oopsie. My bad. Sorry. Okay. That's the worst infinity ever. I'm falling apart. Okay, no, I'm happy. So, oh boy, what's happening from here to here? From the green to green? It's increasing, very good. So that can go in the increasing portion. So it starts increasing here at 0.13, comma, and then it stops decreasing here. That's right, and our other value, this 2.54 value. Oh, and then it starts to do what after that? It starts to decrease again. There it is. So we got one more for decreasing. And it starts decreasing again at 2.54, and it continues forever. Positive infinity. That was fun. It's positive infinity because we're talking about the x-axis, left to right. Now the zeros are easier, kind of. You can visualize on the graph how many zeros we have. I guess I'll use purple here. Zeros are where it crosses the x-axis. Count it. How many times do you guys see this thing crossing the x-axis? 3. 1, 2, 3 times. You see all 3 of them? Those are called zeros. So when it says how many zeros does it has 3 of them. Now you can't just play guess and check with this. You use a calculator again. There it is. Just like we did the mins and the maxes, we do the zeros. So, turn it on if yours turned off like mine did. Hit second trace again. But this time, guess what we're selecting? 0. That's right. So hit 2. Now I'm going to put my cursor on the first 0. Right there. Do you see how it crosses the x-axis right there? It needs you to go to the left of that. So we're going to be holding left for a while here. Done. There's my cursor. You can see that it's blinking to the left of the cursor. So get yours in that spot. Hit enter. Now it wants you to go to the right of that spot. So if here's the arrow, that's where it is. Go to the right of it. That's good. So there's the cursor, it's blinking to the